Marilyn Horde,
Here.
Dwight Washington,
He's not here, but he let us know he wouldn't be here.
Mark Simzak, present, Adam Montry,
Present?
Leslie Hayden,
Present.
and trustee Cheryl Kellerman.
Present.
All right. So we want to do approval of the agenda, get a motion to approve the agenda, or if anyone has any additional things they would like to add, we can amend it and then approve it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Approval of the minutes from November 2024. Get a motion to approve the minutes as shared from Mark.
I didn't actually get a chance to read them yet.
Okay.
Can we table it until
Yep.
next time? Okay.
That's no problem.
Sorry.
That's on me, I should have done a better job of getting that out sooner, so my apologies.
No, it's okay.
Oh, for January, so in
She was
January
reading
we'll
it off,
just
so I was gonna
do
read it here real quick and then I just didn't.
December. All right. Not a big deal. Any disclosure, so we'll table that, any disclosure conflicts of interest? Nope, hearing none, public comment, any public wanna make a comment, limited to 3 minutes to items on the agenda? Nope, alright. Old business, Upton Road Park site, I'm just wondering if we had heard anything about the survey, and then follow up, it sounds like maybe some well discussion.
Yeah, so I reached out to Beth, who thought we may have something, actually just followed up with her today, and she has not had time to look into it yet.
Okay,
She said she's been trying to catch up on her other stuff. So no updates on the survey. She did send a message or some sort of communication to the company that designed the first concept,
okay,
to see if they had anything on file.
okay,
And hasn't heard back from them yet. The well has not been inspected yet.
okay,
There's some more discussion that I need to have with, Superintendent Hildebrandt regarding that. And there was a little miscommunication whether that got approved for spending, for funding, through the board.
I got it
And I
done
know
free.
that, I know you mentioned that he wasn't gonna charge for
Totally free,
anything,
yeah,
so.
and I never heard back.
But, so I just have to get authorization to do that.
okay,
And then we'll move forward with that if that's okay.
yeah, that sounds good, I think that we had said last meeting, it's like, it's winter, it's not like we're gonna be, going out there doing all that kinda stuff, so.
Oh, actually, I did have, so I went to the health department and asked if they had any information about the well.
Mhm.
They don't have a well, they have no idea that there's even a well there. There was no
Okay.
permit that was pulled when they put the well in, so there's not anything recorded with the health department anyways.
Okay,
So it might have been just they punched a well to mix concrete, I don't know,
right,
whoever.
yeah,
was
they
the
may not have
MDOT
had to go through the
contractor.
health
If
department
it's not going to
Yeah,
people.
if it wasn't
right, if it's
potable
not
water.
potable, yeah,
So it may be just a, contractor well that they abandoned.
yeah, so, which is why we're working on this to figure out what, what's actually out there and if we wanna go forward and what that would mean going forward, so. Alright, cool. Alright, anything else about the Upton Road site?
No.
Alright, recreation coordinator hire. So James Sutton is here, he is our new recreation coordinator, woohoo! So, I had a chance to interview him with Taylor, so I have known him, but James, you wanna share a little bit about yourself and your background, and, I know you've only been here, was the 21st? 25th was your first day, so not a whole lot of time, but, maybe just share a little bit about what's been happening in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Parks and Rec as a kid and started working there around 16. Went to MSU for Parks and Rec tourism. Then I transferred to Boys and Girls Club, where I opened up a club in Adrian, Michigan. I was the first in their community. I was there 16 years, and then I transferred into Adrian Parks and Rec, where I ran their youth and adult sports and all their special events. COVID hit, so they were laying off staff. I had an opportunity to take over a club in Grand Rapids. So in 2020, I moved to Grand Rapids. While there, I was promoted to run their area clubs. I was the area director, so I oversaw 4 clubs in the Grand Rapids area. I was commuting from Lansing to Grand Rapids, which became a lot. So I wanted to stay in the Lansing area. This position came to my attention. I applied, and I'm grateful to be here. As Adam said, it's been a short amount of time. I've been doing a lot of digging. I'm really trying to focus on community partnerships. So I've been reaching out to different possible potential partners. One is Special Olympics. I thought we could be a host site. I don't know the logistics, and I know that would take probably, help from the community. But just, trying to think outside the box. I'm working with Meridian Township, trying to be part of not only their youth leagues, but their adult leagues. And I have a list of ideas that I'm working on, and I want to put together a 2025 calendar, to see the growth and potential of where we're headed in the 2025 year. So I'm grateful to be here, working hard and getting things established and learning what worked in the past and what we can do in the future. So thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Any questions for James offhand?
I look forward to working with you with the senior centers. I'm the liaison to that.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well, and that's part of the programming that
Great
I'm working
senior
on now
center.
too, and getting the seniors quality programs and.
That'd be fun. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff needs to be reorganized there. It looks like it'll be fun to make more stuff happen for our seniors. I feel strongly about that.
Yes, and I do as well. So I look
Good.
forward to working with
Great.
seniors and yourself. and-
See you there.
So maybe it's important, I don't know if you've picked up, so each of the committees or boards, the township has a board of trustee liaison that is a member of that board, but then is also the board of trustee, or a trustee of the community, and so Sherry is our.
So I get
So
elected.
she's here, senior center, and are you one of
Well,
them?
we're all changing. I'm actually not
Oh.
here today, so just so you know, there's a whole gap in the timing of reappointment, and
Yeah,
so I'm not really here today.
Okay.
I can't vote,
okay,
supposedly. Anyway,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm on senior rec, Bath,
Park Lake?
in Bath, both of the Bath groups, Bath Lake,
okay.
Park Lake,
Park Lake.
sorry,
Yeah,
Park
that's-
Lake,
yeah.
Bath Lake, our Bath Lake.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure the township has worked with you a lot and told you about past programs, things like that, but if you ever need to, we could always, talk about it too. We're happy to throw out ideas we had and things like that, and from past and new ones that we thought would be helpful, but there's a whole bunch, and I look forward to, it sounds like you're really experienced, and so it's exciting that you'll be able to add to the programs. We've been lacking for a bit, I feel like, and so it's fun. I'm glad to get some of the things back.
In the
Yeah.
senior advisory committee, all volunteers are just fantastic. They spend countless hours a week free, just trying to organize things and try to get things going, and it's a great group.
It's great to have that support, so thank you all for
Yeah, definitely.
willing to help out.
Alright, and I just made myself a note that for January meeting, maybe we will block a chunk of time to sort of dig in a little bit more. We have in January already the digging into the 5-year plan, like you had requested. We said we'd start that in January, but maybe we'll block some time to dig into, like rec activities, what's happened in the past, what would we like to see again, and what are sort of, easier lifts. And James will have been in his position for, 6 weeks as opposed to 2 weeks with the holiday, in there as well, so.
Maybe we could do the farmer's market as well, before it starts to open, maybe
Yeah.
not next month, but maybe add it on to like.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
idea.
February as well.
Yeah,
Between the farmer's market and the festival.
yeah, cool. All right, budget updates. I talked to Taylor today. She is out sick, but she had sent me an email saying, one, that she was sick, and then I'm gonna look it up so that I don't say something she didn't say. All she said for the budget was, it passed as presented, and I guess everything is, this wasn't on the agenda, but everything is set with the holiday market. She just needs a final count of who from the committee here is interested in volunteering or planning to attend to volunteer. So you
Yep,
are
the
on
kids
that.
will be there, yep.
Right, all right, so I will follow up with her, so.
volunteering for which?
For the holiday market on December 14th, so Carolyn usually does like the cards and card table for kids. So Carolyn and kids and I'll follow up with her. Some years I've done the cookie one, and some years, they've just stayed, the family that brings them has just stayed and done that, so, and I think that's all
It's
that
the
we've.
12th though, right?
Uh,
It's Thursday, right? The 14th.
Yes, did I say,
Okay.
sorry, it is the 12th.
Okay, just making sure.
Sorry, I had the
panicked
wrong
for a
one.
second. I looked at the calendar, I said,
Yes,
"Ooh,
it
there's
helps if
nothing
I'm in
for
December when I look at the calendar, right, yeah.
Okay, good, just making sure.
Yep, the 12th, from,
From 4 to 7, I think.
4 to
right here.
7, okay, yep,
4 to 6:30, something like that.
yep. All right, and then so I'll let her know that you're gonna be there, and then
Okay.
I'll see if she needs me for cookies or
Okay.
not.
That's a tree lighting that night too, right? No.
No, that's Tuesday.
That's
That's
Tuesday.
Tu- That's tomorrow.
Yep,
I think she stole my update for the whole.
rewind
It's
it.
on my calendar at home.
All right,
I didn't record in the minutes, so it's not official.
Oh,
You still have your moment.
okay.
You're welcome.
all right, so, old business for Bath Summer Festival status, so the Board of Trustees, approved making the Bath Summer Festival name TBD, program of the township, so it will be, sort of tasked to this committee, and then we'll create, in new business tonight, we'll create sort of a initial planning group for that or for the.
And they'll hold the
event.
finances there, which is cool because they
Yeah.
can't walk away.
Yep, yeah, so
That's-
they'll do similar to how the farmer's market is, not similar, exactly to how the farmer's market is set up, that it'll be a different, line item fund. And so money in, money out will come from that, so we'll be able to make sure that like, if we generate revenue, that is put back in for next year's planning and those types of things.
Okay.
So, it's super
Do
exciting.
we have to think
Yeah,
a name of
exciting.
it now, or
We don't need to do that.
details?
So I think it's important, I think I don't remember, we did talk about this, but, right, that it can't be Bath Days because that is like a business
It's owned.
organization, nonprofit name. People are still gonna call it Bath Days, I don't care.
Yeah.
How about bathtub days?
Right, it's just like, so people are still gonna refer to it as that's, I think, the least of a concern, or little concern. But yeah, at some point we'll talk about, a name and figure out what that looks like, so, any questions on sort of where that lives in the township, how that works?
No.
Thank you all for being supportive of that and wanting something to happen, around that, it's really exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting.
It's really exciting.
The township
So
loves it.
just to confirm though, this, like, based off the last meeting, it was just gonna be housed in the township and we were gonna act as stewards. That is no longer the case, so this is now an official township.
Program.
Supported program,
It is,
both housed and financially supported by the township.
so right now, we are not, there's no financial support from the township.
Okay.
There's no, I should say, there's no funds that have been allocated to this project. They asked about like, when we were having, it took about 3 board of trustee meetings to get it all sorted out, which is totally fine. So, they asked for a number, we said like, we aren't asking them to fund all of it. And then they kept asking, and we said, I don't know, 5,000, but that's just a number, that's not like the ask, like we need to do budgeting, we need to figure out what's gonna happen, we need to think about like what revenue needs to be generated, those types of things.
An account that
Yeah.
was, that the township will hold it.
Yeah.
Understanding insurance, so the township would be the parent of it. So the insurance would be, instead of you having to have the insurance for it or you, whatever, the township would take that on, as I understand it, and support it. That the community wants it. I mean, everybody agrees with that. And the township will hold the money so it can't walk away and become dissolved again like it did this time. And somebody else owns the name and,
But it does seem like the tone has changed a little bit, where now they're like, the township, the board of trustees is like, hey,
I think
we're
so.
kind of willing to be into this financially committed.
I think there were
Yeah, I
only
think that
2
there will
votes,
be-
2 votes against it, I think, or something. It
Yeah,
was,
and not because of not support, I don't think I mean, I think that it was a good discussion,
Yeah.
it was like, I clearly understand the concerns, you know, of no votes and like, I'm okay with that. It's not gonna change like positive, good relationships with the, you know, people by how they vote on a one
Right.
item at the trustee level. But yeah, and I think that the township hasn't said we will commit financial money, you know, we will commit funds to this. But they have said they're open to having a discussion about what that will, what that could look like. They aren't going to fund the entire thing. But I mean,
Or
my,
provide the staff, that was kind of one of the big things I felt, was we're not taking our office staff out of here, that we're paying salaries to manage and run it. That was
Right.
my take from that, was a big part of it.
yeah. That we'll talk about, you know, there's clearly gonna be some time that they're going, like, none of us can do, or none of the community volunteers can do insurance conversations at the
Right,
township
right,
level.
right.
Like, there'll be things where, like, for the farmer's market, remember Kathy Wood used to fill out, like, you know, if we have a beer tent and, I did that last week on it, and I had to move it a little. Like, if we do a beer tent and there needs to be a liquor, control board, or liquor control commission application filled out, like, in the past, Kathy, one of the farmers market board members or committee members filled that out to the best of their ability, and then there was clearly, like, that has to come from the office, we can't go drop that off, there's like signatures that need to come from there. But, so there was discussion around, like, we would do a lot of those types of things, but there would clearly be a little bit of time, that office staff is going to have to do some things, so. And I think that there'll be a point where, like, we go and, based on budget, based on those things, that we have a conversation with, the board of trustees, or bring a proposal to the board of trustees around, like, what we would like to see in terms of, you know, a financial ask, from them in terms of this, especially first year, so.
I think the attitude was pretty generally positive on the board.
Yeah.
That the township wants it, really wants it,
Yeah,
and that's our job.
My only other question is, maybe it sounds silly, but I always got the feeling before when you were talking about it, that it was something that they just wanted our support from, and then like, you guys were gonna meet together and like, have meetings and then come back and can give us updates? Is it more now where we're able to like, so we can talk about it at our meetings and things like that, but there'll be other like subcommittees who meet separately as well, kind of thing?
yes, yeah.
Okay, so it is a thing we can talk
We
about here and
definitely
do
can
it.
talk about it, and we'll
Okay.
talk about it here.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
take our ideas to the board is what I
Yeah.
kind of see it happening.
Yeah, and I think that the goal is to have a small planning committee to start, which we'll get to in new business, so that there is a little bit of space to get things in, and a little bit of space and time to get things in order, and then be like, okay, is there a need for additional people? What is the role of those additional people? What would, you know, how would that work? And then when we go and give updates or asks from the board of trustees, the goal is not to have them, the goal is for not to go to, you know, every 2 weeks be going to the board of trustees and having some type of, you know, presentation or ask. Like, the goal is to get things in order and organized, so that then when we do go to the board of trustees for an ask or an, you know, an update, that like, it's robust, makes sense, it's
Sure.
organized, it's clear, it's, you know, not just we're thinking about.
We have a
like,
plan.
Right.
Yes, and not bring it to them with every, you know, everything that comes up,
Yeah.
just, so.
And it sounds like they're willing to give that away, to
Yeah.
let
Yes.
it happen here.
I would agree with that,
I think so, better now than ever
Yeah.
before.
exactly, so. And James, that's something we can talk about as it develops with you, in terms of like, what your time may, don't mind you to come and be like, hey, by the way, here's this festival. So, we gotta be clear, we aren't doing that, although, you know, thinking about how, rec can be involved, you know, explicitly is definitely something that we'd like to see. Yeah. So. All right. Any questions before we move on to the one new business item?
Nope.
All right. So, as we just said, we are going to have currently, we're just gonna call it a planning group. We may have to change, you know, we may change the name of that, but that seems to be the initial, thing. And so, the Ortas, both Libby and Steve and Sandra McIntosh are here tonight because they have been the, kind of driving force behind this wanting to happen. They've showed up, been to other meetings, they've had meetings off, they have a list of ideas, they've been looking around in terms of, what has happened in the past, what information is out there, what tub information is out there, what, you know, what James is doing sort of in general with the rec department right now, digging, being like, what do we have? What do we need to rebuild? What are people saying? And so I think I am proposing that the three of them and myself become the first little small planning group. We've been meeting externally to this, for the last, not quite year, close to a year. Yeah, and like having conversations and planning that stuff. And so, they are willing, they are excited, they have ideas, they have energy. And so I would like to, I guess Taylor's not here to ask the proper procedure for this, but, I guess, do we take a vote? Or is it more just like, we are tasked with doing this, we're gonna create a committee? As chair of the committee, I'm gonna create this small planning group to get us rolling?
I think we were given that.
That's kind of how
That's how I felt.
Okay.
I-
Me as, I did as well, so.
Okay, good.
So, the three of them and myself can start this planning committee, get things in order, get things set up, and then come back and see sort of what everyone here is interested in, like, or where people are interested in plugging in. Does that seem like one fair process?
I'd love to join in on that if I
Transparent
can,
process?
just to be there and bring it back to the board if that helps any.
Yeah, yep.
If you want me to, I
Yeah.
would love to.
Yep, so I think that, yeah, so maybe so if we if the four of us, the three of them and myself, take our kind of notes of the last year and put them together, can we then come to you, Sherry, and like the committee here and be like, this is sort of like this is where we're at, this is what we're thinking, and then
Yeah.
think about how to plug everyone else in who would like to be plugged in?
Sounds
Sounds
reasonable to me.
Reasonable?
Yeah, so I would say that when you were talking about this during the old business, what came to mind was the farm to fork fall feast
Yeah.
for the farmer's market, and that was a big lift on the serving committee members to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sort of above and beyond.
Yeah.
And so when I think about this, this Bath Summer Festival, it's kinda like, I'm thinking like, we really do need a subcommittee or some kind of friends of the recreational advisory committee, kinda like friends of the farmer's market we used to have, right?
Yep.
I think that we do need to have some kind of subgroup to sort of really take this on. So
Yep.
I'm in full support of that, whether that subgroup gets called a subcommittee or friends of whatever, I don't care, but I am absolutely in full support of some group of volunteers that is willing to take this on, and if these three folks here are willing to do that, I am totally all about that. And especially if you guys have been meeting over the past year and have ideas, and you folks have kind of been in the weeds with this stuff over the past few years, that's great, like, I'm in full support of that. So, definitely, but I think, creating something official to help it be sustainable,
Yep.
for the long haul is really important, because I think the reality is, the committee members, in my experience, as a farmer's market, it's a lot of work to be. And then when you start throwing these extra things on there, like, oh, hey, we're gonna do this festival, which is great, but we all only have limited amount of time. And you're talking about summertime, people are going for summer vacations, this, that, and the other. So I think getting other people, getting other individuals from the community to help get this going is an excellent idea that I'm totally in support of.
Cool. I had the same idea when we started talking about it, about the farm to fork, like, it's a small version of what this, and that's just that kind of subcommittee, or I don't remember, like you said, Friends of the Market, I don't remember what it was called, but
Well, it's a lot, that was just a one-night dinner.
Right.
And the amount of work before and after. This, if it's going to somewhat be similar to the years past, this is a weekend. This is more than just a dinner. This is
Right.
races, this is a whole Saturday of festival type activities.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, thank you, the three of you, if you volunteered, or if you've been voluntold and accepted. But thank you either way for all your work over the.
Will be voluntold.
Great.
Alright, so I'm gonna say, hold August first to the third, on your calendars. That is what we're looking at for the date, that's been historically, the first weekend in August is what it's been in the past, and as, Sandra said at the last Board of Trustee meetings, we looked and there's no other festivals around, there's no other, overlap with other communities that are doing theirs, so, so hold that August first to third. And the four of us can figure out a time here in the very near future to start a going.
All the meetings.
Yeah, all the meetings, so, which is alright, so, cool. Any other questions about, that in general? I think, again, the process will be, the four of us will get together, we will figure out,
No, I
sort of big picture.
won't have anything in this, in the immediate future. I do recommend that you put on your, agenda, your recurring agenda items, a report out on what's happened, what's going on, what the plan is.
Like a monthly report
Each
out
month,
of, yep,
yes.
I love that idea, thank you for that suggestion.
And somewhat related to that, Adam, you probably remember, when we used to do the Farm to Fork Fall Feast, we learned later in the years that it was helpful to kind of backtrack from the calendar, from the date.
Yep,
Sort of be like, okay, so here's the event, so what needs to happen a week before the event, what needs to happen 2 weeks? And so that was really helpful to actually put it on the calendar,
yeah,
and be like, okay, communication needs to go out at this date, and I think that was really helpful, and something I would just recommend that you guys think about doing as well, just to kind of keep things on track.
In
because-
regards to that, do we want to ASAP make an announcement that this plan is now in motion for August 1 to 3 and might bring in help, put it all together in one big, in the Bath News? I think that would get us volunteers if you guys think that and announce that we're gonna do it.
I feel like anything that we can share now is beneficial, especially if we're trying to do this in August.
Right,
So, I mean, you
Because the more
figure,
you get the word out there, the more.
right, that's what I'm
excited.
thinking, and
Yep.
the
well,
Bath.
then with the holidays coming up, I mean, everybody's life kind of gets put on hold when it comes to stuff like this.
We'll keep doing it, whatever we announce, let's bring it back, and maybe make a flyer that we could put on the Bath News, something exciting,
Yeah.
bathtub, fire hoses spraying people down, whatever, something that everybody really enjoyed, I mean, the cops and the firemen washing each other off, and the more we can get it out there, the more volunteers we can get, I think, and the more excitement we can generate earlier, the better.
yep. I agree, and I think that one of the things that the four of us have talked about is like, clearly we are interested in having volunteers, but we also don't want to have like 40 people volunteer and we don't have anything like planned out in spots to plug those volunteers into yet. And so I think that's where we'll get and then be able to plug volunteers in and, one of
That
them.
way we can just say, hey, we need volunteers for this, instead of just generalized.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I love that idea.
I just think the community will be very excited to hear that this is in the works,
Yeah.
just in general, really
I
do.
agree. All right, I'll echo Mark's comments, thank you to the three of you for making this happen, so
Yes.
it's exciting.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, we're really excited about it, so. And then we'll just have to be thoughtful around, and it's not anything that's a challenge, but if we're gonna have meetings external to this meeting where we have more than we have a quorum, that we just have to make sure that there's an announcement for that, and so either we will just not, we will either save that for here, or we will just make the announcement. Taylor is good at that, and it's an easy process for her. I already talked to her about that, so.
What I would also offer too, I mean, obviously you've been spearheading this the past year. If you find yourself where, your week or month becomes too overburdened with meetings and you wanna delegate that attendance to meeting, I'm happy to entertain that. I can't promise that I'll be able to do that based on
Okay.
my availability, but
Yeah,
I'm happy to, step in the event that you can't make it or you just got too much going on.
I appreciate that, so. I feel like it's one I may take you up on that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
but
it's out there,
yeah.
I'll just say.
It's also this like new reality of me working mostly like at 5 o'clock. My job is mostly done most days unless I'm working like with people in other time zones, which is just a whole new world for me. And so it feels like there is like, it feels like I have so much time, like it's in a good way, like to do things like this or be involved and not feel like it's like picking tomatoes till whatever time at night or or especially in the summer. It just feels like this summer felt like there was just more time, which was nice. So, cool. All right. Well, thank you again, and we'll get a rolling here. All right. Maybe the last thing to say about that is one of the other things that we'll be working on and that people have already, that's going to be really helpful, I think, is that there are already events that that other people are planning that we can, that are interested in being a part of this. So like the car show, right? We can do a car show during this that like the committee doesn't have to do anything besides talk to the people that run the car show. Friends of Park Lake have already said that they would like to do something at the same time and that like something that they would take on. So there's like the library has said the same. So it's like there's all of these other activities that can happen that can be part of it that we as a committee will only have to like coordinate with the people. We won't have to plan and execute, which feels good. Because there will be plenty to plan and execute. Cool. All right, so moving on, township parks updates. We didn't hear anything earlier.
Okay. Tomorrow evening is the holiday tree lighting, at the Memorial Park downtown. There'll be s'mores, a fire pit, caroling, obviously the tree lighting, and inside the church there's usually cookies and, Santa Claus and, I think there was Anna and Elsa and, so that'll be at, I believe it's at 6 p.m. tomorrow? 6 to 8, yeah. So that was the real only, I guess, recreation thing that I had, other than, we did get the drains cleaned out under the playground at Wiswasser Park.
Nice.
So hopefully that won't be flooding, at least it will help.
Yeah.
Senior Center has had some improvements started on it, the insulation is done. They will be starting the siding, they're actually gonna start the roof awning up front tomorrow. That should be done, and then they'll, we'll have to find some time to, probably gonna close it down for a couple of days because there'll be a bunch of woodpeckers on the side of it. So that is to come, yet this year. And that's really all I have for parks.
And then, go
sorry.
ahead. Nope, go ahead. You're good.
2 quick questions. I don't know if you remember last year we had talked about, that you guys at one point had like, ice fishing or fishing poles, that you guys would loan out to people and things like that. Did anyone ever check to see if we still had those things? I'm just asking because I know that, we always try to hold some kind of like, for the free weekend of fishing in like February or whatever, and if it's iced over, I thought it'd be a fun thing to kind of, talk about, kind of make a thing, and if we had the equipment to like loan out to people, I thought it would be a fun thing to be able to loan out, and I didn't know if we ever had checked if we still had that stuff, or if it was just regular fishing equipment.
I don't know if there's any ice fishing equipment, I do know that there's several fishing poles up in the barn. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and that was actually on our task to do this week sometime, is go through and kind of put our eyes on it and see what we can use and what, we don't need anymore. But I do know that the fishing derby was a lot of fun that we used, when we used to get ice.
Yeah,
So if there is ice, that is a fun thing to do. There's, I think, pretty good turnout for it. We have not tagged any fish in quite a long time. So there used to be all year long, if you caught a tagged fish, you brought the tag in, you get a prize. There is some fish tags up there, but as far as ice fishing equipment or things to loan out, I don't know that. I wasn't around when that program was going, but I do know that there's fishing poles up there. And maybe some prizes that were never given out.
okay.
I did talk with Taylor about the fishing contest, and what I didn't know, and she said, someone here probably could help me, is who tagged the fish? I didn't know if it was,
Do you like to fish?
um,
We can.
might be one fish tag.
I believe
Man,
it.
James and Ben are out on the lake. Just a few tags left.
So I believe Becky and Mike Goodwin used to tag the fish. I don't know if that was done on township dollar or not, but, if it's a job description, if we're gonna run a fishing derby, someone's gotta do it, right?
Right, that's true.
So maybe it might be a good team building event or something that we could, maybe we need to have a fishing derby to tag the fish, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But I did participate in the fishing derby a couple of years, and, I know we have some equipment, I'm just not exactly sure.
I
We
know
can.
some kids that do.
Okay.
Was that, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I just thought I'd bring it up because I knew it was coming up, and if we don't need to get until January, so I thought I'd ask now, because I saw a couple people mention it on Facebook, and when we first moved into our house on Park Lake there, I remember there was tons of people who went out like on that weekend and always were excited by it, and so I thought if we could try to, bring it back somehow, maybe even talk to like Park Lake Creamery, they could open up like a hot cocoa station or something, I thought maybe that would be a fun event to kind of have there.
Yeah, if there is ice, I think it's a great,
I thought we were for sure gonna have ice until the last couple days, and I was like, well, we're going back, but,
we'll see.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we used to do an ice skating rink and
Yeah.
and other things, so.
The only other thing I was gonna bring up, and maybe this is silly, but over there at, the Memorial Park there, James Couzens Park, those on the very edge of the property line, there's like those cement things, and there's like rocks on them. There's like 2 or 3 of them right there on the edge. Like there's the sidewalk there, and then there's like that lady's house right there, and then there's like they're like little cement pillars like that were built. I didn't know if those were the township property or if they meant something
The
special.
flower planters,
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't
The
think there's
plants-
flowers
there's-
that come out of them.
well,
Maybe.
there might not be, but,
Oh.
are they, 4 or 5 feet wide and square? with
No.
Dirt in them? Cause
No.
there is some raised flower beds
They're
along.
like this, and they're about yay
Weird
tall.
little things.
Yeah, I just didn't know if they meant something special, because there's a tree getting ready to fall, and if that tree falls, it's gonna smash them. That's all I was.
Are they part of that stone wall are you talking about on the north end of the park? Like by the
You're throwing
memorial,
directions
by
at
the,
me.
by the veterans,
Yeah.
by the
Main
veterans
Street?
memorial?
Off Main Street?
Right off Main Street, right off Main Street. It's like literally right at the edge of the property where that house is. Like if you're the furthest, like you're walking down Main Street towards Casey's Cuts, closest to there, right there along like the property line, there's those little cement things. And I didn't know if they meant something special, because if they did, I thought we should maybe help that lady with that tree, because it's on her property, but it's going to, it looks like it's gonna crush those cement things, and
I believe those are all on that property.
Okay.
And not the township.
Okay, I just thought I'd throw it out there just in case, because I was, oh no, I'd be so sad if that was something special and read somebody, so.
Not that I know of,
Okay.
I believe those are part of that little stone
Okay.
retaining wall that's along the sidewalk.
Between the house and
And the park.
the veteran, or the
Okay.
memorial, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where she's talking.
I can drive by this week too and peek and see.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious, cause I was thinking the flower boxes too right away, but, no. Question on the fishing, was there, I feel like the first few years we lived here, it was scheduled and then it got canceled because there wasn't ice. Was there ever a summer one on the lake or no? It was always a ice fishing winter event, okay.
Yeah, it was like the year round where you could do the tag thing. Anytime you got that, you could bring it up to Becky and she would give you the prize for
That
it.
was your.
But yeah,
Yeah,
but
But there was no
the
like summer
fishing.
weekend that, like
Right.
bass tournament or anything like that.
Okay,
I think there was when my parents were younger.
any of us.
Yeah. Cause I remember my dad talking about it.
Okay. I wonder if that could be something that could be part of, if we're not going to get ice, as it appears that, or safe ice, when we wanna send a bunch of people out there as part of a township activity, it could be something that would be, you know, could be linked to the summer festival, possibly, you know. All right, James gave some updates for recreation when we introduced himself, so I think we can skip that one. So public comment?
I
Oh,
was just gonna say one thing,
okay.
just 'cause so I help with soccer club, and I just wanted to let you know that registration for the U6 soccer, that's through the township, that opens in January. And so, I'll open that up with the rest of the soccer stuff when that opens up. I can't remember if I had, either January 1st or January 10th when I open it, but just wanted to let you know that that will open at that point too. And so usually they like to they'll put an advertisement out on the board out front there and like send something out, just letting people emailing, if you do the email list, that U6 registration. Now, I don't know if I told you this, James, but the people who signed up for U6 in the fall automatically are signed up for the spring as well. So usually, sometimes people, you get lots of questions about that, they come to me, they come to you guys. So just know, if they sign up in the fall, their child is already registered for the spring as well. But we do always let newcomers come for the spring as well. And so that's why I open it up for the newcomers, but people who are already registered are already signed up.
Thank you, that's good to know.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't know
welcome.
that.
And Carolyn, so how does that, for me, but more for James, like, so how does that process work? That is the same, the township doesn't sign up U6, the club signs up U6?
Yes.
But they are part of the township?
Yes, I take care of the registration part, so they can do it online and everything, and I can answer all their questions, and then I set up like, coaches, and like Randy is the one who, is the coordinator for it. And he, beats all the coaches there and goes every week with the teams and gets things set up. What I usually do, James, is for the coaches, we have to run background checks, and we haven't done it in the past couple of seasons. But we're supposed to send them up to you guys, and you guys have them run background check on the coaches. And then, also, we need to get better about like the concussion training and things like that, but you and I can always sit down and have a chit chat about it. More details that, Randy was concerned that weren't happening, that he was really hoping that we could bring back. Which I think were all reasonable things, you know, concussion training and things like that, and.
Very important.
So James, is your email the rec coordinator at, or do you have a name one now?
I have a name one,
Okay.
James Seaton at bathtownship.us.
Okay. Great. So that's probably the first rec thing that's going to open here before other things, so you're good to work with James, and James, you're good to work with Carolyn to
Yep.
make sure you, like, I feel like this is if we step back from like soccer in general, I feel like we have an opportunity here to be like, how do we get like James is new, how do we get systems in place, like the first time we do these things that are like functional and useful and efficient and thought through, as opposed to like, this is how we've always done this, we're just gonna, not that soccer is like that, just in like system thinking in general, like how do we do that, like if we decide that like, I'm not saying this is what should happen, but if we decide like the township should be investing in some online registration form, software for their programs, like
Setting up a
how do
new
we set
BSA.
that up for you, yeah, in theory, maybe,
Yeah.
so, you know, but like, you know, we have I feel like we have an opportunity here with a new recreation coordinator to be like, what do we want to do, and why do we want to do it, type thing, and so, you know, like, the same thing, like, you know, should the soccer club be, or should the clubs be registering, not just soccer, like, should these clubs be registering the youth that are participating in the township programming, or should the township be registering the youth that are participating in the township youth programming, so, I think that let's keep that sort of at the front of our minds as well as we go, and James, you as well, as, you know, you go through, so that you don't, you know, I'm glad that Carolyn brought it up, but there may be baseball one that comes up and and I don't know how that one works, but like that you might not have any idea, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like these people are registered and the, baseball club did this and like you didn't know about it, or, so I think that's, please speak up and say like, hey, I've got these ideas, or like, hey, this happened and like it didn't work out well, like how do we course correct early on in your time here so that it's good going forward, and then if something works for soccer, maybe that means it works for all of the programming, or so.
I think that communication is very important.
Yeah. All right, anything else for recreation? All right, public comment, limited to 3 minutes of any topic. Any public comment? No? All right, report from Sherry? Anything I guess you aren't officially here, should we skip that
I'm
one?
not officially here, the only thing is I was still waiting on the well information
Right.
from Karen to find
I'll
out.
put that in my notes to follow up with her. and
She
figure
was
out
supposed to follow up with me, and I never heard back at all, and I left Joe hanging, and I felt bad about that, but whatever. At least I can tell him, forget it, I guess, for now.
Well, I got Joe's number, so.
Okay, yeah, but
if,
I started it, and I sort of felt like I should finish communication with him, and he could probably look and tell us I bet they might have filled it in with concrete, we don't know, but he could tell us that.
Yep. All right, any member comments?
Is this your last meeting with us? Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all your time you've dedicated to coming up here and helping out, and I appreciate it.
I've been able to learn a lot in the last couple of years, and I came in without knowing anything about civil government in the small community, so it's been a learning experience, and I appreciated that.
Well, I as well wanna thank you for your service and your time. I know it's a lot, it's not easy. I'd also like to add, officially, I wanna welcome James. Look forward to working with you, and happy to have somebody on board. And I hope you'll stay with us a while.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanna thank the 3 community members for volunteering your time to help with this festival, so thank you.
I just echo all of those same things. Thank you so much, Les. Really appreciated you being on this committee and contributions and being part of it, coming together with the farmer's market and the rec advisory and Parks and Rec and forming a new board or committee, and so thank you for that, and for your thoughtfulness on a lot of the discussion that we've had over the last few years. Same thing, welcome James, looking forward to it, and this feels good with the 3 of you. Oh, I'm happy, so thank you so much as well. So,
A long time.
it's a long time. It's the wheels of government turn, but they slowly, but they turn. So, cool. All right, if there's no other comments, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, second.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, adjournment at 6:51. Good work, everyone. Let's go to middle school band.